Hey guys, Skyrim here. Before we begin this video, I'd just like to ask that if you're enjoying these lore videos, it would mean so much if you could take 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It helps so much with the growth of the channel. Also, share this with one of your friends. Now, on with the video. The lore behind Theresa. In the small farming village of Oakville, a girl was born to the famous heroine Scarlet Robe and her husband Brom. They called her Theresa. This girl would change Albion for centuries to come. As she grew up in the peaceful village, she gained a little brother and the family lived an innocent life. Over the years, Theresa began to have strange dreams that confused her. Sometimes the dreams would be peaceful, while others would become nightmarish. With these dreams, she would wake up her little brother and he would help her calm down. Unknown to Theresa, these were not mere dreams, but prophetic visions of events to come. With the dreams, she writes of them in her diary. One entry about a big room with a swooshing light in the center of it. This prophecy showing a major event that would change her life forever. On the night before her birthday, Theresa had an awful dream. A dream so terrible that it woke her up. All she could remember from the dream was that she was playing in a field and standing with her brother. The next day, Theresa woke up early to look out over the sea and later went to play in a field near the village gate, waiting for her mother to return for her birthday party. As she played, her brother met her and gave her her present, a box of chocolates, this moment reminiscent of the dream she had had the night before. With her brother, they begin to leave the field to return home. And then Theresa remembers the rest of the dream as it happens before her. A villager runs through the village gate and is struck down by an arrow from a bandit. These bandits, working under the orders of Maze to find the members of an ancient bloodline. Unknown to Theresa, her mother, brother and herself were the ones being searched for. Reaching her home, an ancient evil Jack of Blades slaughters her father and sends her mother away to a prison. Aware that Theresa had a brother, Jack questions her on his location. With a strong gut, Theresa refuses to tell him anything. In response, Jack pulls out his blade and cuts out her eyes, leaving her for death. After Jack left, Theresa crawled out of the house and into the woods with blood pouring down her face. For 3 days, she wandered blindly around the forest. That was until she was discovered by the bandit king, Twinblade. With remorse for what she had gone through, Twinblade brought her back to his camp and they tended to her wounds. As she grew stronger, the camp and Twinblade taught her to fight without sight. As she grew older, Theresa's powers improved. Although unable to see with her eyes, her amazing powers of will allowed her to see in other ways. Alongside this, she became vicious with a sword, killing any who opposed her role in the camp. Some believe this to be a connection to her heroic abilities, showing the powers of skill. As she slept, Theresa would whisper dark prophetic truths which protected the camp for years. As a strong member of the camp, Theresa protected it on many occasions. One of these times being when a band of brigands threatened the camp. Alone, she slayed them all. With her power and loyalty to Twinblade, she became the second in command. With her accomplishments in the camp, she became known to some across Albion as the bandit Seeress. Within the Heroes Guild, a young hero is tasked with seeking out the Seeress, and upon entering the camp, which results in him fighting with Twinblade, As the hero is about to land his final strike on the Bandit King, the Seeress greets him as his sister and explains how she had survived. With a grasp of her abilities, she speaks of his future in riddles, alluding to his battle in the arena and his choice within the Chamber of Fate. Aware of her connection to an ancient bloodline, Theresa uses her will to unlock her brother's connection to the bloodline, making him stronger for his journey ahead. Believing her path with Twinblade and the camp to be complete, Theresa leaves her mentor, the man that had saved her life, and decides to join her brother's journey, believing herself to be needed. As her brother continues his journey, Theresa aids him with information about their bloodline, sending him letters and books about how their power comes from the first Archon himself, but from their lineage. An ancient evil comes for their blood to summon an ancient sword that had been lost aeons ago. After fighting in the arena, Theresa meets with her brother, now known as the hero of Oakville, and explains to him that Jack of Blades is this great evil she spoke of. She continues to explain that Jack was responsible for the destruction of their village and that he was the one who had taken away their mother and cut out her eyes. She informs him that their mother had been locked away in Bargate prison for all of these years, while Jack had tortured her to find out how to access the Sword of Aeons. But, as a stubborn hero, she had refused to tell him anything. After her brother leaves for Bargate prison, Theresa waits for his return. Unfortunately, Jack captures her brother and it takes a whole year for him to escape with their mother. As her family escape, Theresa is then captured by Maze, a powerful wizard working with Jack. Held captive within the Huck Coast Abbey, Maze begins to perform a ritual to acquire the Septimal Key. This key important in activating the focus sites scattered across Albion to find the Sword of Aeons. Luckily, Maze is interrupted by the hero of Oakville, but as Jack arrives and overpowers him, both the hero and his sister are used together to speed up the ritual. With the ritual complete, Jack takes the key and instructs Maze to take the siblings to the Chamber of Fate for the final part of the Sword of Aeons ritual. Using all of her remaining power, Theresa breaks the spell trapping her brother as she is pulled through a portal to the Chamber of Fate, trapped in a spell until Jack arrives later with their mother. As the sword appears in front of Jack, Theresa's brother runs into the chamber just in time to see Jack slit the throat of their mother, her blood giving the sword power. Still trapped in a spell, Theresa falls unconscious as her brother and Jack fight. Regaining her consciousness, she wakes to see a large vortex where Jack had been defeated in the center of the room. This moment, which she had seen many years before as a child in her small farming village. It is said that the hero of Oakville thought about whether to take the Sword of Aeons for himself and kill his older sister to gain its full power. But instead, he threw the sword into the vortex where it was lost forever. With her part in her brother's journey complete, Theresa left Albion and travelled to the mountains to find her own destiny. While in the mountains, Theresa came across Palgan. Palgan was a powerful will user from the Eastern Kingdom who had come to the mountains to meditate with the help of the thin air close to the clouds. He took in Theresa and offered to take her to the Eastern Kingdom. That night, Theresa woke up to find Palgan performing a ritual above her to take her prophetic powers. With a blade, she killed Palgan and took his amulet, a powerful artifact that teleported her to the Eastern Kingdom he spoke of. Now in the east, and away from the worries of Albion, Theresa spent centuries in Samarkand studying its great and vast libraries, learning all she could of the world. Within one of these books, Theresa learned of an Old Kingdom artifact, the Spire. It was said that this gigantic structure had the ability to grant a single wish to its user, and she decided that it'd be her destiny to have it rebuilt so that no one would ever suffer like she had again from great evil. Over these years, Theresa continued to master her abilities of will to the point where her will energy kept her alive. After 500 years away from Albion, Theresa returned to her homeland with a plan to have the Spire rebuilt. Unable to do this herself, she sought out someone that had the means to do so. Through her prophetic abilities, Theresa saw a man that had lost his wife and daughter to a terrible virus. The man, Lucian Fairfax, looked at the world with rage, angry that his family could be simply taken away from him. The man also happened to be extremely wealthy and powerful as the mayor of Bowstone. Manipulating his grief, Theresa used his dreams to drop information about an Old Kingdom artifact that could bring them back. With this, Lucian began to research the Old Kingdom with the help of an Old Kingdom scholar, Garth. With their research, they discovered information on the Spire and began to rebuild it. Wishing the Spire to be built quickly, Theresa continued to plague Lucian's dreams with cryptic visions and prophetic riddles, turning his grief into an obsession to have the Spire built. With his obsession, he became ruthless with those that were hired to build it, enforcing obedience and even kidnapping people from the shores to build against their will. Theresa could see how this grief affected Lucian and the people that had died under his dictatorship, but she saw this as a necessary evil for an Albion that would be safe from evil in the future. After years of the Spire being built, Lucian continued to grow mad and more obsessed. Through research, he learned that he required the power of 3 heroes to fully activate the Spire's power, but there was also a 4th hero from an ancient bloodline that displayed all 3 hero attributes that would stop him, and so he searched for these heroes. With her powers of foresight, Theresa saw how she would take the Spire from Lucian after its completion. Within the old town quarter of Bowstone, Theresa waits, standing before mystical Murgo, a travelling trader. On his travels, he had met with Theresa previously and she had given him a music box to sell on his journey. As she had seen in her visions, 2 orphans stand next to her and watch as Murgo attempts to sell his wares. Unknown to them, these children were long descendants of Theresa's brother and part of the ancient bloodline, a bloodline capable of possessing the 3 hero attributes: strength, skill, and will. She convinces them to buy the music box, assuring them that it would allow them to make a wish which would then let them live in the castle, a home which they desired. Unknown to them, only one of them would live in the castle. With her plan in motion, Theresa walks away as the children begin to collect money to buy the music box. After buying the box, they make a wish. It is said that Theresa uses her ways to alert Lucian to their use of the box and that only a hero could successfully use it. This resulted in the orphans being brought to the castle and tested to see if they were the heroes he required. Unfortunately, Lucian discovers that they are members of a bloodline destined to stop his plan to rebuild the Spire, and so he shoots Rose, the elder sister, and then shoots Sparrow, the youngest, and he falls out of the window. Waiting at the bottom of the tower, Theresa takes the child to her home in the gypsy camp outside of Bowerstone, and for years, she raises Sparrow, manipulating their grief about Rose, and plans to send the hero on an adventure to overthrow Lucian once the Spire was complete and take it for herself. Once of age, Theresa sends Sparrow into the Chamber of Fate. Here, the hero awakens their blood and is able to use their powers of will. Now a hero, Theresa sets out a path for Sparrow to find 3 heroes that would help her overthrow Lucian. Hello heroes, thank you for watching part 1 of Theresa's lore. I'd just like to thank my gold tier patrons, Jonas, Matthias Krokvis, Scruffrim, Sheep Palpatine, Zero XP Podcast, The Arbiter and Lewis. Your support helps me make these videos, thank you. As always, like, share and subscribe if you found this interesting. Now, enjoy your day, bye.